Some stories don't just break your heart, they leave you asking questions that may never have satisfying answers. How does an 18-year-old with the world at her feet, a rising Hollywood career, and millions of fans suddenly become another tragic headline? One moment, Kaylee Hottle was inspiring audiences around the globe. The next, her family was planning a funeral instead of celebrating her future. And perhaps the most unbelievable part of this story isn't the accident itself, it's what her father chose to do afterward. His response stunned the world and transformed an unimaginable tragedy into a lesson few people will ever forget. Kaylee Hottle wasn't Hollywood's loudest star. She didn't dominate gossip headlines or chase controversy. Instead, she quietly earned something much more valuable: respect. Born into a multi-generational deaf family, American Sign Language wasn't simply how Kaylee communicated. It was part of who she was. Long before audiences around the world knew her name, she was already proving that talent doesn't need to fit Hollywood's traditional mold. Then came the opportunity that changed everything. In 2021, she appeared as Jia in Godzilla vs. Kong. On paper, it sounded like another blockbuster filled with giant monsters destroying cities. But audiences quickly realized something unexpected. The emotional heart of the movie wasn't Kong. It wasn't Godzilla. It was the extraordinary friendship between Kong and a young deaf girl who communicated through sign language. Ironically, in a movie packed with explosions, the quietest scenes became the most unforgettable. Millions instantly connected with Kaylee's performance. Without lengthy speeches or dramatic monologues, she communicated fear, hope, courage, and compassion through expressions and sign language. She reminded audiences that understanding someone has never depended solely on spoken words. Hollywood noticed. She returned as Jia in Godzilla x Kong, the New Empire, once again delivering a performance praised by both critics and fans. Even more importantly, deaf children everywhere finally saw someone like themselves starring in one of the biggest movie franchises on Earth. Representation wasn't just being discussed anymore. It was happening. Everything seemed to point toward an exciting future. Then, on July 21, 2026, everything changed. Authorities say Kaylee was a passenger in a single-vehicle crash in Frederick County, Maryland. Emergency responders arrived quickly, but despite every effort, the 18-year-old actress lost her life. The driver survived with injuries, and investigators stated that excessive speed may have been a contributing factor while the investigation continued. In an instant, dreams became memories. News spread across social media within hours. Fans struggled to believe what they were reading. Tributes poured in from every corner of the entertainment world. Rebecca Hall, who portrayed Kaylee's adoptive mother in the MonsterVerse films, remembered her with affection and admiration. Fellow actors, filmmakers, crew members, and thousands of fans described her as joyful, humble, and incredibly kind. But while Hollywood mourned the loss of a rising actress, another story was unfolding, one that left people speechless. Kaylee's father, Joshua Hottle, appeared in an emotional video using American Sign Language while traveling to bring his daughter's body home. He described it as a flight I never wanted to take. Just imagine that for a moment. No parent expects to board a plane knowing they're bringing their child home for the final time. The grief was unimaginable. Then Joshua said something almost nobody expected. Instead of expressing hatred toward the young driver involved in the crash, he publicly forgave him. His message was simple. I have forgiven you. Don't let this incident ruin the rest of your life. Those words spread almost as quickly as the news of Kaylee's death itself. In a world where anger often arrives before compassion, Joshua chose forgiveness. That doesn't erase the pain. It doesn't erase the loss. And it certainly doesn't make what happened any less heartbreaking. But it reminds us that even in humanity's darkest moments, people still have the power to choose grace over bitterness. That decision touched millions. Many people admitted they weren't sure they could ever make the same choice. Others called it one of the most powerful examples of forgiveness they had ever witnessed. Meanwhile, fans returned to watch Kaylee's scenes as Jia once again. Only this time, those scenes carried an entirely different meaning. Her smile felt brighter. Her conversations with Kong felt more emotional. Every quiet moment suddenly became impossible to watch without tears. Perhaps that's because audiences weren't simply watching a fictional character anymore. They were remembering the remarkable young woman behind her. Kaylee's impact reached far beyond movies. She inspired deaf children to dream bigger. She encouraged Hollywood to embrace authentic representation. She proved that courage doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes, it arrives through kindness, through resilience, through quiet confidence, and through someone who simply refuses to let differences become limitations. For someone who lived only 18 years, that's an extraordinary legacy. Success isn't always measured by the number of movies someone makes. Sometimes it's measured by the lives they change. Judging by the countless tributes from families, teachers, fans, and members of the deaf community, Kaylee Hottle changed far more lives than she probably ever realized. Her story is heartbreaking, but it is also deeply inspiring. It reminds us to appreciate the people we love while we still have them, to celebrate those who open doors for others, and to remember that kindness often leaves the strongest legacy of all. Thank you for watching. If Kaylee Hottle's story touched you, please leave a comment sharing your favorite memory of her or simply write, "Rest in peace, Kaylee." Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to It's Tragic, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story. Until next time, take care of yourselves and of one another.